Hey there, day number 11 for the 1-2-3 Draw 30-day challenge. Today I think is a much easier drawing. Yesterday we did the fighter jet and some of people stayed around and we colored it blue. So today's project is a choice if you want to color it. So you can see I colored it red and it's super easy. It's a lot like the fighter jet with this like torpedo like tube shape. And then we just added some color for fun. So today's assignment, much easier, much faster, and we'll make it there be a bigger challenge tomorrow. All right, so to get started, you're gonna obviously need your pencil and you're going to make a diagonal line. You could make pencils go in different positions, but the first one we're gonna do is just gonna be a diagonal. So one diagonal line. That's gonna say how big your paintbrush is going to be. From here, we're going to make the next line, and it's going to be about as thick as my pencil, and kind of get a little thinner here, and then go back up and get the thinnest, like up at that part there. All right, so you've just made the handle of your paintbrush. Now, every paintbrush, and it doesn't matter what type of paintbrush that you have, but paintbrushes all have this part that attaches, the metal part that attaches to the plastic or the wood, whatever it's made out of. So we're going to make one line there to represent where that metal ends. And then a second and a third. So you see how they have like a double line before it ends? And then we're going to close the brush up down at the bottom with a straight line and then make the bristles. So now let's look all the different types of bristle choices that you have. So if you want this to just be a plain old brush with a point, I'm going to bend it like it hit the paper. So instead of the point just ending, the point is going to bend. And now I'm ready for details. So the drawing part of this project is pretty much done. It's all about shadowing now. So when we're shadowing for this next part, we're going to be trying to pretend that it's like a metallic and it has this like shine on it. So for that to happen, we're going to have one part be extra dark. So I'm making this edge very dark. All right, then I'm going to even go inside of those spots too with darkness. And then I'm going to add another reflection part, which would be this dark part there. And then I'm going to color the whole thing light, 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 light. And then I'm going to take my homemade blender and I'm going to blend. And if I wipe out any details, you go back and add your details again so that they're sharpened. That dark line I can make darker again. And then I'm going to make a highlight. This is something I didn't do earlier, but you could try just taking your eraser and erase some extra white spots to make it look like some parts are shiny and some parts are dark. All right, now for the bristles, I'm going to go like this. Just kind of draw them in. And then for this part, I make it extra dark on one side. It doesn't have to be as dark as the metal portion, because metal has a more reflective quality. So just a little darkness on that side, maybe a little lightness on this side. Take my blender, stay in the lines, and brighten that up. Okay, so we've got that done. Now I'm going to darken my edge again because I blended on it and now it looks out of focus. So I'm going to just darken that edge. Now I'm going to make the shadow on the ground. Shadows touch the object that it is that you're working on. If it doesn't touch, it makes the object look like it's floating in the air. So imagine that this is where you were standing on the ground and your shadow hits the ground wherever you are standing. So I'm just making a paintbrush shaped shadow. I'm not worrying about it looking exactly like a paintbrush there. All right, so now if you wanted to add some color, we'll start with just adding some color that has come out of the brush. So I'm just going to take a color pencil and I'm going to scribble something. You could draw something if you wanted, but I'm just going to draw a little zigzag scribble that gets bigger and bigger and biggest when it hits the brush. And then I'll also make it like thicker when it hits the brush too. Like it's closer, so it seems bigger even though it's just a little closer. Now, if I want to color the brush, I've got to think about, number one, what color are the bristles of your brush? So obviously it's green there, but this part of my brush could be brown. Sometimes I have brushes that are white. Sometimes I have brushes that are black. So you really just kind of have to look at your brush. But when I did that, it kind of like blended out the hairs. So I'm going to just take a black color pencil, or if you have a black ballpoint pen, they work nice too. While I'm there, I'll just darken that. And then I'm going to take a color for the bristle or the handle of the brush. So I'm just going to grab another color pencil, and I go for red on this one. So I'm going to color extra dark on the part that I shadowed dark all the way down the row. So you can see like I have crumbs that are flying off of my color pencil. If you rub those with your hands, you might make the color pencil smear all over. So you might want to just blow those crumbs. All right, so now you're going to give it a gentle coloring on the top part. So it looks like that part is brighter than the rest of it. And now I'm going to show you one more thing before I sign off. And if you've never used color pencils like this before, you're going to like this piece. I'm going to use a regular white color pencil. And I never knew about this until recently, that if you take white color pencil and you color really hard on something that was already colored with another color, you get a blending effect that really makes it look a little bit more smooth, like oil pastels. I kind of like this now. And once you do it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, it looks less like crayon and more like a smooth painting when you use this white color pencil. And if you go out of the lines, it kind of doesn't matter. So I'm not worried too much about my edges. See how nice and smooth it looks? I could even go back over top of it with some more color pencil to brighten it. So you see how I can go back and add? And I could even go back and smooth again. Now you can add more pencils or brushes or anything else in your picture too. So you can see here I laid one on the ground on this picture, and then I made the shadow right up against it because it's just laying there. So you can add more pencils or more color pencils, or maybe even draw a pen and make your picture more interesting. Good luck, and I'll see you back tomorrow for day 12.